Anybody who wants to go on the fern walk, we're going to start now. Okay, my goodness, I think I have enough plant lists for this group. I'm just going to hand them, Suzanne, here's a copy for you, and I'm just going to ask you all to pretend you're in grammar school again. The plant collection here in Juniper Level Botanic Garden is a really significant plant collection. Our fern collection is a very notable one. We are considered to have the largest selection of winter hardy plants in any garden. The statistics are we have 82 well, let me go back. Gardeners don't need to know the whole kingdom, family, that kind of stuff, but you do need to know family, genus, species. We have 82 genera. Genera is the plural of genus. The plural of genus is not geniuses, it's genera, but I won't fuss at you if you say genuses. But ferns are really ancient plants, and they fall into at least 24 different families. You know, we talk about like the aster family, and all these different related plants are in one family, but ferns are a much more diverse group. You know, they're so ancient that, back then when we had fern gardens, we had to worry not about deer, but brontosauruses coming through our garden. And we have about 370 species. Now, we also have a lot of selections of those individual species, so we have 936 individual taxa clones. So, like we have painted ferns, but we have 12 different painted ferns. So that's how we go from 370 species to 938 clones. There's a fern for pretty much every growing situation. Most people are surprised to learn there are ferns that grow in sun. There are ferns you could grow with these agaves and cactus, and we'll see a few of them. There are ferns that will grow in standing water and everything in between. And everybody knows ferns grow in shade, and we'll see a lot of those today. We're going to start right here with one of the many maidenhair ferns. This is a selection of southern maidenhair fern. The maidenhair ferns are Adiantum. This is Adiantum capillus veneris. It's sort of a tricky group for me because so many of the maidenhair ferns look very similar, but they turn out to be different species. And indeed, I would advise against buying a maidenhair fern that is being sold as a houseplant, because it's probably a tropical species that looks just like a winter hardy species. But there are many, many winter hardy maidenhair ferns, and this one is called southern maidenhair fern. It is a North American, well, it's actually native to a wide part of the planet, but it's also native to the southern US. We do have the northern maidenhair ferns, which is one of the most distinct of the maidenhair ferns. It's a tall thing, has a naked rachis, the leaf stalk, and then like a horseshoe leaf. So it looks like a maidenhair fern, but you wouldn't ever confuse it with this one. I don't know if Tony has counted these fronds. He might realize there's one less today. But that's not a particularly good one. Two less. Yeah, two less. Don't tell him. These are sort of, the arrangement of the fronds is maybe the most typical of the fern arrangements, where it's like a plume. This is not a damp site. It's competing with this fir tree. Some of them, this one is almost evergreen, partly because the evergreen shade will protect it from light frost. But it's only in late winter that we cut this one down. Others are more deciduous. And actually, it'd be easier for us to all go out that way and come out back
Can I
up.
ask a question
Of
about
course.
the water requirements?
Yeah, of course.
So, I have dry
Yeah.
area, like under my trees.
Yeah.
It's very dry. So is this more of a dry?
No, I would say it's more of a medium, and it would survive probably in a dry site, but it wouldn't be lush like that. But this. Our gardens are irrigated, so it gets a little bit of irrigation, but it's not, you certainly wouldn't call it moist. We'll see a bunch of ferns like the dryopteris that are pretty good for dry shade once they're established.
Doug,
Yeah,
I see there are two sort of colors for that.
yeah, oh,
New fronds that are coming out
yes.
fall.
Yeah, that's a,
Very
yeah, the pale yellow are brand new fronds. They will all darken up to the darker green, but that is a nice feature of some ferns. The ferns that sort of put up new fronds all summer long tend to look really fresh all year long. Some of the ferns that only put up new growth one time can look rather tired by the end of the year. Well, I'll show you an example here. This is our native Christmas fern. If you see an evergreen fern in woodlands in the winter, most likely it's Christmas fern. I was always told it's called Christmas fern because if you look at an individual division, well, this one's not. No, here, if you look at it, it sort of has a little toe at the end, so it sort of looks like a Christmas stocking. But ferns differ in their spore production. Some, like cinnamon fern and ostrich fern, they have fronds that only are photosynthetic. They have separate fronds whose purpose is only produce spores. They're dimorphic, two forms. But Christmas fern is one where the lower part of the frond is photosynthetic and the upper part of the frond is producing spores. That happens early in the year, so by midsummer the upper part has served its purpose. The plant doesn't care if it looks shabby. It's not looking for the good housekeeping seal of approval, but you end up with frond plants that are not all that beautiful through the summer. Now this is a newer frond, but mostly they just put it up in the spring. And Christmas fern is on your list. It is, Lordy, I would know it any, it's polysticum, meaning many spikes, polysticum acrosticoides.
Why do you cut the ferns in late winter?
Because by late winter, that one the fronds have turned brown.
So you cut them
Yeah.
because
but-
it's shabby the next year.
Well, Mother Nature, I'm pretty sure she's not out there cutting down the things that after winter, and it's not something that the plant requires. We do it for making the display more attractive. But I thank you for that question because that's an important one, but I'm going to answer it in a minute when we're standing in front of an evergreen fern. Let's see. Yeah. This is another maidenhair fern, but a different species. You see it looks very much like the first maidenhair fern, but it's very finely dissected leaves. Instead of Adiantum capillus veneris, it is Adiantum fimbriata. Lovely little thing.
Did you say that again, please?
Yeah. It's another maidenhair fern, like the first one, but it's a different species. That was Adiantum capillus veneris. This is Adiantum fimbriata, so a different species, same genus. And it's just a more delicately cut thing. It's visually delicate, but it's a strong grower in the garden.
Is it spread by underground?
Yeah, it's spreading slowly by underground rhizomes. Thank you. Some ferns are clumpers. Some ferns are runners. Some ferns spread really, really fast, which is fine if you have a large garden. A lot of the spreaders the rate of spread is modest. Our labels, our engraved labels under the QR code have the year that something was planted. This was planted in 2017. So in those 8 years, some of you are going to run screaming from this garden in fear that this is going to knock you over, and others are going to say, I can accommodate this rate of spread. This is a garden selection of a Asian fern, but one with sort of twisty cutleaf fronds. It's Microlepia strigosa of the form crispa. It's a deciduous fern. Now you think of deciduous when it comes to trees, but with herbaceous plants, deciduous are the things that turn brown and disappear with frost in the fall, as opposed to an evergreen fern. This is one of the lady ferns. The lady ferns are Aetherium. They are also a deciduous fern. They disappear for the winter. This is Aetherium felix femina, which means lady fern. And it's one called Lady in Red that has the red stalks to the leaves. The fronds are not red.
Do you recommend any ferns as inside houseplants, or is that kind of a bad idea with the spores? Or?
There are so many tropical ferns that would be a more natural selection for use as a houseplant. But if you want to turn around, the next fern I'm going to talk about is one that's a real easy houseplant. Oh, the persimmons are on the ground. This one isn't on your list. It's the same genus as the Christmas fern, but that's a nice little small fern, and that one's evergreen. The pyrosias are evergreen ferns native to Asia. We'll see several others today. This is a hybrid, and many people think that they're not winter hardy. They are sufficiently winter hardy that they stay outside in these hanging baskets with no additional protection 365 days of the year. This will be my 4th fall here. In my first fall, I think probably about December, when our first real cold spell was coming, I started moving these baskets into the greenhouse thinking, well, surely they go inside for the winter. They don't. They stay outside, and a lot of plants could survive winter if they're planted in the ground where the ground doesn't freeze, but in a hanging basket, they freeze solid in our coldest spells, and they still remain evergreen all winter. They are rhizomatous, meaning they grow from rhizomes. So it looks like we have other ferns seeding in there. But planted in the ground, they're not a fern that you would consider rampant. They're sort of slow and steady. That's a palm seedling. I didn't mean to drop it on the ground, but I did.
I have this fern in a stone wall,
Yeah,
like just stacked stone wall.
Yeah.
It just creeps along the wall and it comes down. Not that one. One of the tongue.
yeah. We'll see a couple selections of Pyrosia lingua, which is
That's
the
it.
tongue fern.
Yeah.
This is a dryopteris. You see PTE Yeah, yeah, Pteris in a lot of plant names, especially ferns. It means wings. You know, and the different orders of insects also are all Pteris, meaning wings. So you have like Coleopterus are the beetles and Lepidopterus are the butterflies. So, you know, when you see pteris, it's referring to wings. The dryopteris, we have many North American natives. This is one of them. This is the log fern, Dryopteris celsa. Certainly the majority of dryopteris, if not all, are evergreen. This is a nice tall one. And I want to, you know, there was the question earlier about why do we cut the maidenhair fern down in late winter? Well, most of the evergreen ferns remain attractive through the winter months. That's a really nice feature. And they don't care whether or not they get cleaned up or not. They're still going to put up all the new fronds in the spring. These are display gardens. We like to keep things tidy. And the easiest time to cut the old foliage down is in late winter before they're putting up new growth. Because when they start putting up new growth, you have to go in and, you know, carefully cut each stem and not cut the new stem. So well, we have a winter open house late February, early March. Usually the next week we're starting to cut down most of the evergreen ferns. Except
Even they look better when they grow new, do they turn brown, the old ones?
the old ones will, at the time they're putting up new growth, the old ferns will slowly decay away.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Gardener.
No, we're all beginning gardeners. I'll never call myself a master gardener. I have so much more to learn. Oh, you know, I should have mentioned, again, this is an Ethereum. And if the Japanese painted ferns and the lady ferns, which are both Ethereums, if they look shabby in the middle of the summer, cut them to the ground. Because if they look shabby in midsummer, they're just going to get shabbier for the rest of the growing season. And if you cut them to the ground, they'll quickly refresh themselves. You know, that is for these deciduous ferns. Now, I really don't like this raggedy fern, and it's hiding one of my favorites of the tongue ferns. Can you all see this one here? Now, yeah, I'm probably standing on top of it too. A wild tongue fern does not have this wonderful fishtail division of the tip of the leaf. Indeed, the leaves are, you know, undivided. Here, that's a more typical leaf. And that's where it gets the common name of tongue fern. I don't know what pyrosia means, but the species is Pyrosia lingua. If you've ever ordered a tongue taco in a Mexican restaurant, well, it's tacos lengua, and this is Pyrosia lingua, both referring to tongue. And you know, these are we saw the hybrid one in the hanging basket. You feel the leaves are very, very leathery, and the leaves tend to live longer than 1 year. So we only remove any fronds that are going by, but we don't ever cut the whole thing to the ground. It would survive, but you'd sort of set it back. Now, we have many, many dryopteris, and we're a big group. Most people probably know autumn fern, which is an excellent fern, and it's Dryopteris erythrosora, means red, the spore-bearing ones. But this is a very similar fern, and it's very handsome today, but it will remain flawless all winter long. So I tend to think it's even better than the autumn fern. I haven't gotten that far yet. Yeah, thank you. It's Dryopteris kinkiensis. Kinki is a area in Japan. It has nothing to do with kinky, but it looks like that. It's a peninsula in western Japan. I think it's on my list, isn't it?
I'm looking for.
Dryopteris? Yeah, Kinkiensis.
What
Yeah.
makes it better than
Yeah.
autumn fern?
Because it holds up even better through the winter months. This is, you know, I'm not going to try to bring the whole group up here. You're all welcome to if you want to, but it's flawless today. I can, but the thing is, it remains this perfection all through the winter months as well. It stands up. Some of the evergreen ferns, like the big Dryopteris ludoviciana, will tend to lay down in the winter. It remains green, but it's standing up as well. All right, we're
Y'all sell that here?
yes, we do. We raise the ferns we sell because we collect the spores. Ferns are primitive plants. They don't have flowers. They don't make seed because they don't have flowers, but they produce spores on the underside of the fronds. And we collect the spores and we sow them. Oh yeah. And when we were beginners, all of us, we tend to look at that and think, "Oh my God, bugs!" But you know, they usually occur in very regular patterns, so they don't really look at all. Well, they look like very well-behaved bugs, but bugs usually aren't well-behaved. We teach a class here, I think once a year, on growing ferns from spores. The J.C. Ralston Arboretum does this well. I can pass this around and you all can see that examples.
What do you think my chances are? When I cut off old fronds that have the spores, usually I have a woodland garden, it's pretty big, I'll throw it into the woods upside down and hope that maybe in 2 years there'll be some little ferns.
Yeah. Suzanne's question was, does she have any hope of ferns being produced from spores when she cuts her ferns back and put the fronds in the woodland, dump them in the woods? Ferns come up in lots of places in these gardens. The Japanese painted fern and the other ethereums are forever coming up, and we're forever weeding them out. If you're a volunteer here helping us weed, we can send you home with them. You know, we have named clones of the Japanese painted ferns, and any sporling, a seedling, it would not be true to type, and so it's sort of like beloved mutt puppies out of your pedigree poodle or something.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Did y'all name Godzilla?
I don't know. I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. All right, I'm giving you 3 minutes to show up. No, okay. I started off by saying ferns come in a wide range of sizes. How's that one for a small guy? That's full grown. It's an Asplenium. I didn't get this one on your list, but there is an Asplenium on your list. This is Asplenium trichomanes. It's from Crimea, but that's full grown. And this is a fern I really love. It's an Asian fern. I know it as carrot fern. I think we use different common names in the catalogs, but the genus is Onychium. That's on your list. Onychium japonicum. It looks like it would be a delicate plant, a difficult plant to grow, but it is almost foolproof. This is a very dry location, not intentional, but people running the irrigation system can't seem to figure out how to get the irrigation to run here. We also grow it in full sun in other parts of the garden. It is deciduous, but it just, gets better all summer long. This, I think, is a really good time to view things, to see what still looks good come fall. A few ferns are shabby looking now. You might still want to grow them, but I always think, like when it comes to hostas, this is the time to evaluate them, because if they can still look good at the end of the summer, then they're ones that are going to look good the 6 months before then. Behind you right there is one of the Cheilanthes. Now, the taxonomists like to change names, so it's hard for us to even, have a conversation, because we're now calling pizzas dogs and dogs pizzas, so we don't know what we're talking about any longer. And the Cheilanthes are now being called myrianthes, but they're small ferns. They are sun ferns. This is not very sunny at this time of the day, but that faces east, so all morning it's in full sun. But we'll see a couple other Cheilanthes or myrianthes in the Crevice garden. Don't slip on this wet soil. This is one of my absolute favorites because it's so beautiful. It's a Cheilanthes, or nowadays Myrmianthus ecloniana. It's from South Africa. And again, this is full sun for the first half of the day. And look at its neighbor. So, either this is taking more water than it likes, or this is tolerant of more drought than we ever imagined. And the soil in the Crevice garden, in between the slabs, is almost entirely pure gravel. So growing in an extremely lean soil. And these are evergreen. I just think it's just gorgeous. Now, this is not really a plant for a sunny, dry location, and this is actually not a dry location, because we have water that drips through this area to create sort of a crevice garden. Indeed, you pitcher plants want a boggy location, but this is one of the ribbon ferns. They are evergreen ferns with an undivided frond, and they are Neoleptosaurus fortunii. You see fortunii on a lot of plants. Well, Robert Fortune was an Englishman collecting plants in China, and he was the one who was responsible for sneaking tea out of China and delivering it into India. There is another tongue fern up there. It's a different species, this little one in the crevice right there.
How about that fern under the rock coming out?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I don't think I ended up putting this on the list. It's a Blechnum. Blechnum spicant, fast lane. That's a small fern. That's full grown. It might slowly make a broader clump, but it's not going to get a lot taller. Yeah. I've been working full time in these gardens for 4 years, and I'm always amazed at how often I'm seeing something for the first time. Oh, that I should mention that fern. Thank you. This little delicate looking fern is, I think this is a native. That's its label. Cystopteris protrusa. We also grow it in sun. It's deciduous, but it's putting up new fronds all summer long. That's full height. I don't need to tell you, it is a spreader, manageable rate. Another fern, native fern with a spreading habit, is sensitive fern, and it's a classic example of one of those ferns that has fronds that photosynthesize and fronds that just make spores. These are fronds on the plant, and they're green when they start out, but their only purpose is to produce spores. And these aren't ripe, they'd be brown when they're ripe, and you know, if you bump them, you'd see a cloud of tiny white spores, not white, brown. And people during the medieval ages thought that fern spores would help you be invisible. But sensitive fern is deciduous, and I believe it got its common name of sensitive fern because it like goes with the slightest frost in the fall. But it's a plant that will grow in quite a bit of sun if it's in a wet area. It'll grow in, you know, boggy areas that you couldn't grow most other plants in. Oh, I didn't realize this is our northern maidenhair, and yeah. If you remember the southern maidenhair, which was the first fern we looked at, do you see how different the northern maidenhair is? Yeah. It has this tall leaf stalk, this the stipe, and then like a horseshoe arrangement of fronds. It's a real beautiful fern, and it's again one of those ferns that looks delicate, but it's not delicate. And you know, despite its name of northern fern, northern maidenhair fern, it's common. It's a native in I guess most of the southeast as well. This one is deciduous. It will disappear with freezing weather in the fall, but return every spring. You know, it's a spreader, but it's a real modest rate of spread.
Here's a fern that I have that sort of looks like this, but it doesn't have a pretty edge to it. I think it's a broad something.
Broad beech fern? Yeah, that's another native fern, and the fronds do look a lot like sensitive fern. But isn't it only about that tall?
Yes.
Yeah, it's much shorter than
yes.
Sensitive fern. Okay. Yeah, the dimorphic, the two forms.
Does one of them hold up better in the summer heat, the northern or the southern, or do they both equally do that equally well?
We have no problem with it. Yeah. You know, it's not a. Yeah, this is dark. This is dark. It's too dark for a lot of shade plants, but the ferns are fine. Yeah. This, you know, there are situations when you want a spreading fern, and this is Thalicteris decursive pinnata. Those are not seedlings, those are not sporelings. It's spreading quickly underground. And, you know, if you have a woodland and you have trees and shrubs, a spreading plant can, you know, give you a ground cover. This very unfern look like, I'm getting tongue-tied. This is a fern. This is one of the, Lord. And this is our last weed. Yay, I found the last weed. This is our native smartweed. And it's called smartweed not because of its IQ results. Supposedly, if you get the sap on an open cut, it smarts. Okay? I've never noticed that. But this is this fern is one of the breaks. If you've been to Charleston or Savannah, you sometimes see this growing in the limestone mortar in between bricks and stuff. But they are deciduous ferns. The genus is Pteris, again that word meaning wings. It's Pteris cretica, which you know, would sound like it's from Crete, but this selection is from China. They're, you know, give you a totally different texture to most other ferns. Genus again, Pteris, P-T-E-R-I-S. Yeah. Okay.
Woodwardia right there.
Yes.
Is it a different type of species, or just leggy in the shade?
It's leggy in the shade. This is dark. This is this dark all day long. The Woodwardias are great big evergreen ferns from Asia. This is actually a hybrid between two species. And this morning I noticed it was doing something really interesting. It's making some adventitious plantlets. Does anybody want those? Or you can throw them on the ground. I don't want a burden. And these are, they're not bulbs, but I'm going to call them fern bulbs, where these will produce an adventitious plantlet. And I have another Woodwardia to show you that has like thousands of little plantlets on the frond.
You call it a plantlet?
Yeah. Adventitious is something that occurs where you don't normally expect it to be. Like if you suddenly started growing a nose on your hand, it wouldn't be, you don't expect it to be there, that'd be adventitious.
Do they generally stay on it, or do they fall off and start new plants?
I've never seen it on this one, but I'll show you another one where they typically, they fall off and root in the ground.
Oh, so those will root.
Yeah. This one at the tip, I think probably was maybe starting to root in because it's down in this very wet soil.
So if this laid down, it would root?
Yeah, but they'll also just fall off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a tropical fern that's grown as a houseplant called Mother of Thousand Ferns or something like that. Yeah.
Is a common name for this the walking fern?
No.
Or is that
No.
a similar thing?
No, it's not at all similar. The walking fern I know is an extremely rare North American native fern. It's a small thing with a leaf about that shape and size, and it has a long tapered point to the leaf, and the tip touches the ground and roots in, and then that plant will do that. So it sort of creeps like a spider plant. Yeah.
Pass it around.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I'm just going to quick show you a few more ferns because I've already run too long. This is one of the bamboo ferns. It's distinct from the other selections in having the pale, almost yellow banding through the leaf. It's Coniogrammy Emaiensis. Whenever you see ensis, it means from, so it's from Mount Emai, one of the sacred mountains in China, and the cultivar is golden zebra. It's very attractive. We do sell it occasionally. It's slow to get established, so it's one you sort of have to fawn over initially. Once it's established, it's easy. They're semi-evergreen. Let's see. Oh, Pelia. This is the Woodwardia like we saw out there with a few adventitious plantlets. All of these are adventitious plantlets on it.
Wow.
We named this particular plant Mamma Mia. But I've dealt with this plant in other gardens. I sort of plant them in a flat and put it under an intermittent mist system, and then once they root in well enough, I pot them up.
They root just by they
Yeah, they'll fall on the ground. Yeah. Okay, just a few more ferns. I wanted to make sure you saw this fern. It's a really excellent fern. It's slow to get established. It's not that it's difficult to grow. It's not. It's just, some plants you plant and you have to jump back because they spread so fast. This is slow to settle in, but then it just gets better every year. It's Arachnoides, Standishii. The nursery industry have given the common name of upside down fern. I don't quite know why, but it's an evergreen fern that just gets better year after year. And it's one that we sell, but it's also being grown by other nurseries as well. And maybe this will be our last fern. No, well, two more ferns, but they're both right here. This isn't on your list, and it's actually a dryopteris, but it's one of the most atypical of the dryopteris because most of them look like the ones we've seen, but this is one that is slow growing, so we don't cut it down in the spring. I can feel it has lots of spores on the underside. And then we saw the Woodwardias with the Adventitious plants. This is Woodwardia una gemma, which means one seed, and it tends to make just one adventitious plantlets on the frond. But I think the frond itself is really beautiful, the way the veins are sort of impressed. Well, that was just, oh Lord, we have another fern here. If we ever did a tour of all the ferns in this garden, it would probably take us most of a week. But this, hopefully a little taste of the diversity of ferns in the garden. You're welcome to walk through all the gardens, you know, up until 5 today or come back some other time. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure. Happy to answer any additional questions if you have them.